Poirot noticed the apology in his tone with some amusement. Doubtless the man had been promised a good trip, doubted if he could trip the compartment for sole use of other traveler. However, even the most magnificent lose their effect when a director of the company is bored and issues his orders. The conductor emerged from compartment, having swung the suitcases up on the racks to swing rack. Apology, doubtless munificent. Poirot noticed the apology in his tone with some amusement. Doubtless the man had been promised a good tip if he could keep the compartment for sole use for the other traveler. However, the most munificent of tips lose their effect when a director of the company on the board and issues his orders. The conductor emerged from the compartment, having swung the suitcases up onto the racks. "Voila, Monseigneur," he said, "all is arranged. Your upper berth number 7. We start in a minute." He hurried off down the corridor. Poirot entered the compartment, a phenomenon I have seldom seen, he said cheerfully. A wagon lead conductor himself puts a luggage. It's unheard of. His fellow traveler smiled. He evidently had over annoyance to get over. He probably decided it was not good to take a matter otherwise than philosophically. "The train remarkably full," he said, "phenomenal, unheard otherwise philosophically." "Voila, Monseigneur," he said, "all is arranged. Yours is up, number 7. We start in a minute." He hurried off down the corridor. Poirot re-entered the compartment. "A phenomenon I have seldom seen," he said cheerfully. Wagon lead conductor himself puts the luggage. Is unheard of. His fellow traveler smiled. He had evidently got over his annoyance. He probably decided that it was good to make the other way than philosophically. The train remarkably full. The whistle blew. Then there was a long melancholy cry from engine. Both men stepped into a corridor. Outside voice shouted, which were off, to be off. But they were not quite off. The whistle blew again. "I say, sir, I say," said the young man suddenly, "if you'd rather have the lower berth, one had rather either, and all that, well, that's all right. A likable young fellow." Whistle blew, melancholy, suddenly likable. A whistle blew. There was a young, long, melancholy cry from engine. Both men stepped out into the corridor. Outside a voice shouted and word were off, but they were not quite off. The whistle blew again. "I say," said the young man suddenly, "if you'd rather have the lower berth either, and all that, well, that's all right by me. A likable young fellow." Репетитор по скайпу, Smart Teacher Studio.